right, so we're back and ready to dive deep. This time we're heading over to the Philippines to look at this film, Love Child.
Oh, yeah, Love Child. I've heard some buzz around that one.
Yeah, well, that's, MovieKaTicket. They did a whole review, and
Oh,
it was
right.
glowing, absolutely glowing. And I wanted to take a closer look
Sure.
because, well, one thing that always gets me is when a film tackles a topic like, autism, but it manages to avoid, like, the typical, like, the cliches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Rain Man, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Right.
the savant, the extraordinary ability, kind of that whole thing. And it seems like Love Child really steers clear of that.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because one thing that really struck me about Love Child is that it's a directorial debut for Jonathan Jurilla, and he actually drew inspiration from his own personal experiences.
Mm.
So instead of focusing on those, extraordinary sort of tropes, the film really zeroes in on the emotional realities of a family that's raising a child with autism.
So it's more grounded in like the actual day-to-day,
Yeah, exact.
the nitty-gritty of it all. Now, one thing, the review mentioned the use of these long takes. And I'm curious about this.
Hmm.
Because sometimes long takes, they can be, well, frankly, a little boring,
Oh,
you know.
oh, for sure.
But the review said that in this case, it actually really adds to the film's rawness and honesty.
Well, I think long takes, they often kind of invite the viewer to like really observe
Yeah.
in this much more intimate, unfiltered way.
Become a fly on the wall, sort of.
Exactly. You're just there. So, it just creates that sense of realism and immediacy.
Right. You're drawn into their world, no
Yeah.
escape. Now, the actors, everyone's raving about the actors, especially the young boy who plays Collie.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
I mean, authentic casting is it's crucial in any film.
Oh, yeah.
But especially when you're dealing with sensitive subjects like autism, I think. When you have actors who can truly embody the characters and their experiences, it just adds this whole other layer of depth.
Right.
And it resonates with viewers and it moves beyond just representation.
Becomes a genuine connection.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I got to say, the setting, Negros Occidental in the Philippines, it's not a place we often see represented on screen,
Right.
especially in stories about autism.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? How important is that?
Well, I think cultural context, it shapes everything. The family dynamics, the support systems, even how society as a whole views, neurodiversity. So to see a film that explores these themes within Filipino society, it just offers this whole fresh perspective
Right.
that challenges our assumptions.
It broadens our understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
And from what I've gathered, Love Child, it's not shying away from the tough questions, right?
Yeah. It's, it avoids those predictable happy endings, which I think is really brave and important because, well, life's not always tied up with a neat bow,
Certainly not.
especially for families dealing with, the complexities of autism.
Yeah, and I think by portraying those realities, even the difficult ones,
Mm-hmm.
the film opens up a space for deeper empathy.
Yeah, absolutely. It challenges us to confront our own expectations and engage with those nuances of human experience.
Now, MovieTicket loved it, but there were a few other critics I noticed who, they said the pacing was a bit slow.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, art is subjective.
Well, for sure.
What one person finds slow, another person might find immersive.
Right.
So I think it really depends on what you're looking for in a film.
Sure.
If you want fast-paced action, Love Child might not be for you. But if you're open to a slower, more contemplative experience,
Yeah.
then the pacing becomes a strength because it lets those moments breathe.
It sounds like Love Child is a film that stays with you.
Yeah.
It makes you think, maybe even challenges some of your preconceived notions. So for our listeners out there, what's the big takeaway?
Well, I think Love Child, it's more than just a film. It's an invitation to step into the world of this family,
Right.
navigating the complexities of autism. And it reminds us that authentic storytelling can really bridge that gap between awareness and actual understanding.
So we should all seek it out.
Yeah, definitely. Go see it. Experience it.
Yeah.
It might just change your perspective.
I like that. All right, well, that's our deep dive on Love Child. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
We'll catch you next time.
See you then.